Hi guys, and welcome back to Tom Talk. And today we are going to be talking about the fourth studio album from Wolf Alice, The Clearing, which is another of the Mercury Prize nominees. It's their first album with RCA after leaving Dirty Hit. It's a bit of a change in direction. There's a lot of very soft rock, very ballady tracks here. It's a change from their last record, Blue Weekend, and it's produced by Greg Kurstin, who has worked with Pink Pantheress, a fellow nominee, of course, Gorillaz, Foo Fighters, Liam Gallagher, Paul McCartney, Kendrick Lamar, Charlie XCX, and has prominently worked on Adele's last two albums, on Lily Allen's albums, on a lot of Ellie Goulding's work. So this guy is very active in the fields of rock and pop music. And this follows up their third album, Blue Weekend. Now, up until that point, I hadn't been a big fan of Wolf Alice's work. It hadn't really clicked with me. But I remember seeing them live at Reading Festival in 2018, and I thought they were pretty good live. So I thought, do you know what? I'll give them a chance. And then Blue Weekend came around, and was a good album. I really enjoyed it. And that was their third, and this is now their fourth Mercury Prize nomination. Every one of their studio albums has been nominated, which is quite an impressive feat. And they have one to their name, Mercury Prize wise. So what do I think of this record? It's good. I like it, but I'm not sure if it's a standout on the list, is my thoughts. But let's get into why. The opening track, Thorns, is this very somber piano ballad. Nice use of strings, I will say. And Ellie Roselle's delivery, it's very Paloma Faith-esque. It's quite melancholic. You could hear her pushing herself vocally and the straining on the vocal cords. It's about a breakup and how she's a narcissist for making a song and dance about it, and in the lyrics, and also the fact that it's a song, I suppose. I do also like how on verse 2 that there's these warbly auto-tuned vocals and these echoey background vocals and the nice drum pattern. It changes up the track a little bit. It gives it a bit of something different. And on the bridge, she really hits the high notes very well. It's a pretty good start to the record, I've got to say. I think instrumentally on this record, it doesn't push the boundaries too much, but there are times where a specific instrument will give a track a bit of a kick. We then get Bloom Baby Bloom, which is a bit more upbeat. It's got a bit of a dancey tempo to it. Then she's giving a bit more of a rocky delivery in the vocals. There's quite a lot of fire and passion coming through, and there's more rockiness from the guitars as well. She's kind of like, the song comes from a point of her making a rock song, but from the perspective of being a woman, someone who's seen as, oh, this is a woman-fronted band, and kind of like talking about that and how she's more than that. And she gives a very passionate performance here and talks about defying the sort of stereotypes of being a female-fronted rock band. And it's a nice single, I've got to say. The instrumental stands out compared to a lot of the ones on the record here, and it's one of her better performances, in my opinion. Just Two Girls. I like this song. It's cute. It's basically just about her meeting another girl and them just sort of conversing and getting to know one another, and her saying, oh, I like your long hair. And she's like, well, why don't you just get long hair? It's a very simple, straight to the point, but very human song. It's, again, got that more piano rock sound, but the synths here give it a bit of bounce. I like it. It's not the best track on the record, but I like the simpleness of the song here. And I just like the topic at hand. It's very relatable. We then move on to Leaning Against the Wall, which has this very marching band drum-esque sound in it, and the acoustic plucked guitar, and there's like people talking in the background. Like, it really fits into this theme of like an acoustic performance, like performing directly to a crowd, which which we saw on the SEMA album as well. But yeah, basically she's saying she's with this person that she likes, and the way he says her name makes her feel like she's the star of the song and the star of this place they're in. Her vocals also on the post-chorus, they get quite airy, as do the synths, which emphasise this sort of feeling she has of feeling like really important in this person's life and how she loves this person the most. And then right at the end, the drums go in, she vocally hits the high note. It's a great closer to this track. Again, instrumentally, I think this track maybe doesn't push the boat out too much, but it has things that it sticks in there to make it fit the theme and make it stand out here. So I like that. Passenger Seat is another acoustic guitar ballad. I will say on the instrumental front, it's not pushing the boat out too much, but I do like this metaphor of the relationship being like a car journey and how he can't drive and he's taking the wheel, both physically and metaphorically speaking. I do like that. And I do get Amy McDonald vibes here. I don't know why. But it's a decent little track, and I like the sort of commentary, but is it one of the standouts on the record? Play It Out, I got Self-Esteem vibes from this track. Not quite sure why, but I did. I get a lot of different influences from Ellie's vocal deliveries, and she does vary it up, which I think is good. It's another very sad piano ballad, which I like the songwriting here. It's like reflecting on growing older and how she might not have a child and she might regret that. You know, she'll scatter people's ashes. But it's also saying, like, she wants to be excited about getting older, but her delivery is very mournful. It's very direct. There's also these soothing background vocals as well, which add to this sort of atmosphere. I like this. I think this track has very good songwriting on it, and it's one of the ones that stand out on the record to me from a songwriting perspective. Bread, Butter, Tea, Sugar it's more of like this very bouncy rock sound. It's got a bit of a kick to it. It's about, you know, she's in a bad relationship, but she doesn't want to move on. The bad goes with the good, the bread with the butter, the tea with the sugar. The song's title explains it. She's got a much more fiery delivery here. And I think the food metaphors are a decent little commentary. Her vocals are quite toned down on verse 3 as it breaks down and then it hits you right back. And I do like the use of strings and piano here, and the guitar riffs at the end are very good. I like what this track is trying to say. I just feel like at this point there has been a lot of sort of relationshipy based tracks here. This is a bit different here, but it doesn't quite stand out to me as much as some of the other cuts. Safe in the World is this sort of very soft indie rock sound. She feels safe in the world through this person that she has a lot of love and a lot of passion for, despite the haunting choir vocals in verse 3 sort of emphasise those fears that Ellie has for the world. And she gives a very passionate delivery here, and I do like it. It's a change in pace from some of the more uncertainty and the sort of is this love good for me type tracks. So it's nice. We then get Midnight Song, which I really get Aurora vibes from this. It's acoustic. She's got quite an angelic delivery. It's very sweet sounding, and it's a nice change of pace. It does feel like a sort of interlude in a way, and I'm not sure quite what the message is here, but she talks about her roots and wanting to be remembered for her music, and maybe just those sort of late night internal thoughts and thinking about your place in the world. But I don't know why, but this is one of the standouts for me. Even though there's not that much going on lyrically, it's a lot more instrumental based. I do like this. White Horses is arguably my favourite track on the record. It's got this plucky guitar, this very energetic indie rock sound. The guitar sounds quite scratchy, which gives it just gives it a bit of something different here. And Joel Amory takes the lead here as he talks about his grandmother journeyed to England and wanted to find out about his heritage, but also he doesn't necessarily need to know because he's found a family through his friends, and him and Ellie come together right at the end, and it's a really good performance here. I do like how one of the other members gets their part to play, because this does feel very much like Ellie's record for the most part, which is fine, but it's nice to have like a sort of a moment for one of the other band members to take the lead here. I do like that, and it's a fresh perspective. And then we conclude with The Sofa, which is a great single. It's another acoustic ballad, but it's got a very single, energetic, kind of poppy sound to it. But Eddie's kind of saying here, like, I'd love to do all these things, but also sometimes I just want to be at home. I just want to be on the sofa. I could be happy. I could be sad. Sometimes I want to settle down. Sometimes I just want to have a shag, And the strings on this track sound absolutely gorgeous right at the end, and it leads for this very big closer. But it's a really good single here, and it's got a lot of passion and atmosphere to it. So a good way to close the record. Overall, I like this album. I think Ellie's songwriting is pretty good, and Joel obviously on the other track. And I think it flows nicely. I just think that instrumentally this album doesn't take a lot of risks, and that sort of pushes it down. I think as well, I don't get the same sort of enjoyment as I did from Blue Weekend here. But it's a good album from Wolf Alice. I can't deny that. I do think this is a good album from them. It just doesn't stick out to me as much as Blue Weekend did. So overall, this is a very solid 7 out of 10. Maybe a 6.5. I'll come back to this record at some point. But it's still a good album from them. But it's not one of my favourites on the list. So that's my thoughts on The Clearing from Wolf Alice. Let me know in the comments what you think of this album. Is this one of your favourites for the Mercury Prize? Am I being too harsh? Let me know. And stay tuned for more Mercury Prize reviews. Make sure you go check out my Blue Weekend review as well. Until next time, folks, this has been another Tom Talks.